that black container, it was right here.
I combed through these videos and you do not directly see him planting evidence. You see what could be argued to be an inadvertent aversion of body camera at the critical moment this stuff is recovered. He essentially was employing like magic tricks to hide evidence.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Stevie. Today we are reacting to something different. I got a police officer that was charged with 67 counts of lewd conduct of a police officer. He was charged with placing evidence in the vehicles of the community people. He is charged with multiple crimes that could get him locked up for forever. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and leave it in the comment section and let me know what you think about this guy.
Deputy Zachary Wester is arresting various people after supposedly finding narcotics in the cars they were driving.
If I would have never lifted the center console, I would not have seen that orange part sticking up. It was right between the console and the front passenger seat, man. You were in constructive possession of methamphetamine, okay? So you are going to jail today for possession of methamphetamine because it was on your side of the vehicle. What I'm going to do, though, since that young little boy is looking back, I'm not going to put you in handcuffs, okay?
But between inconsistencies in his reporting, the body cam turning off at key moments, and the locations of where the drugs are found, something's not right, and someone starts taking notice.
There was a whistleblower in this case named Christina Pumphrey. She worked for the state attorney's office at the time. There were a lot of things with this case that just didn't sit right with her. So she started doing her own investigating.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Is that seat slide? Man, I'm in the Christmas spirit. What we got there, my friend? Look at there.
And this right here is the crucial moment. We need to look into this a little bit further.
And now the heat is on. The officer now has someone that has a key on him.
We've got to notify the supervision to start running an investigation into Wester. At that point, they start pulling all these traffic stops.
However, there's a big problem.
So this ain't yours in the door right here. You are going to be detained now, okay, because it was in the door. Okay, I'm just detaining you. Just put your hands behind your back for me.
On his body cam footage, we don't actually ever see him planting their narcotics. That raises some red flags to me.
And now prosecuting attorneys have a long haul to pull. They have to prove that the deputy placed the narcotics in their vehicles without anything on camera, without any witnesses.
He had mastered what he was doing. He knew when to turn his body camera off. He knew when to keep it on. He knew when to find whatever he was going to find. The fact that he was so comfortable doing it, he was so good at only showing what he wanted to show until it came to the Teresa Odom video. That's when he really slipped up.
Deputy Westwood, Jackson County Sheriff's Office, reason for my stop is your brake lights. They work 1 minute and the next minute they don't work. You got your driver's license on you, ma'am?
I just got tickets the other day. I'll be glad to show
you. Oh, did you? No, you're fine. Would you consent to a search of your vehicle? You're fine with that? Okay.
And now you can physically see a plastic baggie with a white substance in his hand before he puts his glove on.
You can physically see a packet with a white powder in his hand before he puts his glove on, which he later finds that same packet in Teresa Odom's truck.
It is yogurt, sir.
I know. Okay.
It's yogurt.
How about this, though?
That is not mine. No, sir.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you any
No, sir.
I'm not going to ask you any direct questions. I'm going to read you your rights first, okay?
And that's what blew the case wide open in reality, what you see in his hand before he ever searches the truck. That's what really, really got him in trouble.
Authorities discover a stash of drugs and paraphernalia hidden in the trunk of Wester's patrol car. After an investigation by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, it's suspected that Zachary Wester planted narcotics in dozens of traffic stops. In 2019, Wester is arrested, and he's ultimately charged with 67 crimes with respect to 12 victims: racketeering, official misconduct, fabricating evidence, false imprisonment, perjury, and possession of controlled substances and drug paraphernalia.
You know, we still have a methamphetamine problem across the United States. A proactive law enforcement officer, you stumble upon drugs on a frequent basis. He's trying to show that he goes out here, he makes big cases.
He gave me a piece of advice. Sometimes the people you think you can trust are the very ones you shouldn't.
Wow, that's a huge statement right there. It goes in itself to say that us as taxpayers cannot trust the people that we are paying to take care of us and protect us. These are the people that we share our community with. We have to look. These are the people we call when we get in trouble. Like, hey, I need some help. We should be able to trust them.
Use of an incredible power. The defendant used his position as a deputy sheriff to make traffic stops on 12 members of this community and plant methamphetamine in their cars. Methamphetamine and paraphernalia. He turned what should be a law enforcement agency, and is, into something for his own use that was criminal.
The strongest evidence was what was examined under a closer professional eye. We have a very similar MO, a policy, a practice that this individual employed, the recovery of the same type of substance, not within direct view of body cam, movements that could not be accounted for, divergent paperwork, unexplained discrepancies in tests and field testing.
Josh Emanuel voluntarily told the defendant that he had a gun in his car before the defendant had any reason to search it. Now, why would he do that if methamphetamine was really in his car? Why would Mr. Bowling give the defendant his corrections ID, letting this deputy know right away that he's got a criminal history? Why would he do that if there was methamphetamine in the car?
Man, if I know that was in there, you think I'd tell you go here and search, man? Come on, man, really?
People still do sometimes.
Why would they consent to a search of the car? There's no reason to. They consented to the search because they didn't have anything to hide.
And the prosecution honed in on arguably their strongest piece of evidence.
Now, could you imagine that? You driving and you get pulled over thinking it's just a simple traffic stop. You haven't ever did drugs. You haven't ever tasted a cigarette. Haven't ever drank a beer. You get pulled over. The nicest cop walks up to you, to your car. Asks, can he search your vehicle? You say, yeah, no problem, officer. I'm good. Come on in. Hey, sit down, kick your shoes off if you want. You know what I mean? Yes, you can search my vehicle. You get out of the car, go stand back, talking to the second deputy, whatever. He comes back and says, ma'am, you cannot go home. You have methamphetamine in your car. What? I have what? How? No, that's never been in my car. And then you end up in jail for tonight. Can you imagine that? No, we shouldn't have to.
Why in the world does the defendant have palmed in his hand, which is clasped like this, not like this, not like this, like this, a plastic baggie? Why in the world does he have that there? I would submit that this is objective evidence where you see him planting drugs in the moment. You see something in his hand that has no reason, no logical reason, given this stop and what we know about it, for it to be there. This is him planting evidence, and you see it.
People were saying you could see the baggie. I could not see it. I think the hardest part for a prosecutor here is, number one, there's no smoking gun. And number two, there's a really flimsy motive for the regular person. You have to understand why someone with so much to lose would risk.
Mr. Wester went one by one through each and every stop and arrest. Many other officers, all nothing unusual, no red flags with anything Mr. Wester did. Many of those same officers were not surprised at all that those suspects denied ownership of the drugs and the paraphernalia that Mr. Wester found in their cars. There is no direct evidence of Mr. Wester doing anything wrong. Not one person said they saw him doing anything unusual.
Not actually seeing him plant the drugs, that may come off as, that was just a bad angle of the camera. But again, juries do want to actually see that. Jurors want to see physical evidence.
Many of them entered pleas. Nobody challenged anything in a courtroom, and nobody filed any complaints with the sheriff's office.
Here's the other harder part, the victims. Some of them pleaded guilty. And what that means is if you plead guilty, you can't later say that you didn't do it. The people who admitted that the drugs were theirs, in the eye of the law, the drugs were theirs.
Most of the people that got up there and testified also said, yeah, I'm suing. And at least one of them said, yes, a conviction here would definitely help my civil case. So is there an interest? Yes. And what is that? Money.
Just to go away.
And the jury got to hear from those alleged victims themselves.
The white small plastic baggie that was in that spoon that the deputy just showed you on this video. Had you ever seen that before?
No, sir.
Was that in your car?
No, sir.
He said that he smelled marijuana emitting from the vehicle.
Had you been smoking marijuana in the vehicle?
No, sir, absolutely not.
What about Miss Smith?
Absolutely not. She was 3 months pregnant.
How long was it between you packing Reginald's lunch and this defendant pulling you over and saying he found meth in it?
Less than 5 minutes.
Was there any meth in that lunchbox?
No, sir.
Did you put any meth in it?
No, sir. He told Reginald put his hands behind his back, and he told me to go over towards the tree.
At some point, did you try to film this on your phone?
Yes, sir.
What happened?
He was acting weird. He told me that I would be arrested if I did not put my phone down.
Testifying against Wester was scary just for the fact that you're testifying against a law enforcement officer.
The only thing I really saw was the fact that he kept going back into the car, like several times, over and over and over again. Because he'd come back, he'd talk to me, he'd go back to the car, he'd come back to me, he'd go back to the car.
This is someone the state has put in place to protect and serve. They're entrusted with the public safety. They're entrusted to do the right thing, and they took an oath to do so. So when you're sitting in a courtroom saying, that's a dirty cop, it doesn't look good.
He said he found a syringe in a baggie that looked like it had been used. He said it was stuffed down in between the passenger seat and the center console.
Would you have seen it if something was there?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Was there anything like that there?
No.
Everybody says they're innocent. Everybody said it wasn't mine. You know, everybody says they have nothing to do with it. So going into that, you're thinking, how many other people have been in my spot testifying against an officer? Typically that doesn't go very well.
You never saw him with a needle or bag or anything in his hands until after he came out of your car? No, he was pretty far in there when he was reaching for the gun. Did you see him reaching in his pockets or anything? No. Okay. And he's wearing short sleeves, so he didn't have anything up his sleeves either, did he?
But I knew I had to do it. I had a clean record. I was the quote-unquote key witness in this case because of my clean record. So me testifying was a big deal for the state.
Then it was time for Zachary Wester to take the stand.
Did you plant this substance in Mr. Williams's lunchbox?
I did not.
The report that you wrote in that case, did you falsify anything in this report?
Nothing, no sir.
With Miss Wood, was there anything with her that you planted so that you could arrest her?
No.
Was there anything in your report that wasn't true about Miss Wood?
No.
The marijuana shake and the methamphetamine that you found in the vehicle, did you plant that there?
I did not, no.
This case is tough because you're dealing with a professional witness. Cops, part of their job is they testify. Police officers are trained to be great witnesses.
The allegation is you found 6, but only entered 5 into evidence.
And that would be correct.
Okay. Tell us why.
It was determined that one that was unused could have very well been for his diabetes that he just stated that he uses syringes for. So I didn't determine that one to be of evidentiary value, and it was just simply disposed of.
Did you take that other needle and hide it in your car to plant in somebody else's car later?
No, I did not.
There are certain strategies and techniques when people testify that become learned and practiced over time. Not getting overly emotional, answering only what is asked, responding in a way that is non-confrontational, non-argumentative.
In all of these cases that we've talked about, you did not plant any evidence.
That never crossed my mind, no.
These were legitimate stops, searches, and you found illegal narcotics.
Yes, sir.
By and large, he was really good on the stand.
Methamphetamine is quite prevalent here in Jackson County, correct?
Methamphetamine is very prevalent in Jackson County. I've seen firsthand the destruction that methamphetamine has on families, has on friends. And in my job as a deputy sheriff, I wanted to be as proactive as I could. I didn't feel that the citizens of Jackson County wanted to pay me to just sit somewhere and wait for a call.
Wester even tried to explain away the arguably incriminating evidence from the Odom stop.
In the void space, there was a baggie of some sort. I didn't know at the time if it was of evidentiary value or not. It didn't appear as if it had narcotics in it. It didn't appear as if it had anything that may have been of value, but nonetheless, I wanted to try to preserve it, so I grabbed it. And whenever I entered the vehicle, it was in my left hand, but I wanted to be able to still use my fingers. Before I put my gloves on, I moved my hand and I placed that item in the driver's side floorboard, and I continued my search.
The state was showing these still photos. There's something in your hand.
Sure.
There is something in your hand.
Absolutely.
Was it that bag of methamphetamine that's sitting there on that spoon right now?
It was not, no.
Now it's clear here that the deputy has been prepped on what to say to the jury. He knows when to look at the jury, he knows what to say, and he knows how to talk to the prosecuting attorney. They all do. They teach them to do this.
Wester had done his homework and really prepped for the questions that were probably going to be asked by the state prosecution.
Where on your body camera video do we see you handle that baggie and either picking it up or putting it down or looking at it closely to determine what's in it?
Whenever I put that baggie in the front driver's side floorboard, I never seen it again. I'm not sure if it's because when a semi came through, it blew it into the roadway. There was really no need for me to go walk across 231 at the busiest time of the day to try to find something that I didn't even know was evidentiary value or not.
Why'd you set it down on the floorboard if you didn't know if it had evidentiary value or not?
So that I could search the vehicle.
How about searching what's in your hand? How about that?
I didn't expect him to actually get on the stand. He kept moving his nose. He was very twitchy and nervous the whole time. He lost his cool on the stand several times with the state attorney.
Your theory was that because mom had been in the car at some point and mom had been a meth user years before, that even if they were in accidental possession, that you went ahead and arrested them.
I did, and here's the thing, most of the time they deny knowledge. So Mr. Williams, you're presenting to this jury that in the First Circuit where you work, that if someone says that they didn't know about the narcotics, you're just gonna drop the case on every single narcotics charge that comes on your desk?
Sir, you know that's not what I'm saying.
It sounds to me that's what you're saying.
Okay, well, thank you for your input. I'll remind you, as you're aware, that I asked the questions, you answer them.
Sure.
I just really believe he came off a little cocky, a little arrogant, instead of, hey, I'm truly innocent here.
The goal of the body camera is to allow someone else in this very court system, perhaps, to see what you or any other deputy would see while they had that body camera on. Isn't that right?
Body cameras are very beneficial, yes.
Not for Reginald Williams. We don't have one, right? So why don't we have one for him?
If the body camera video for Mr. Reginald Williams would not have been deleted from the server, this jury would have had a chance to review that body camera.
Who deleted it?
Mr. Williams, I don't know.
If someone deleted it, did they delete the front part of the manual video? Did they go in and delete that as well?
Mr. Williams, I've already testified as to the first part of that Emmanuel video, and I made it very clear that the body camera experienced a malfunction.
And it so happened that that missed the part where you would have first gotten into the car and had a chance to see the syringe in the baggie. Is that right?
I would disagree with that.
That's not when the error occurred?
I would disagree with that.
Then why isn't it on the video?
Mr. Williams, I've explained this to you 3 or 4 times now as far as why that is not on the video.
Is there some reason you will not answer that to the jury?
The body camera error occurred as soon as the traffic stop was initiated.
The defense's case was actually pretty solid, and it's not really due to the defense attorney. It was Wester's covering of his actions. He had an explanation for everything. He had cut his body cam on and off at certain times perfectly and explained it away as a malfunction. And they questioned people involved in IT in that department. Is this a possibility? Well, yeah, it's a possibility. It's a body cam.
Now, you've testified that you saw Kimberly Hazelwood reach down and put that Excedrin bottle in that trash bag. Is that right?
Yes.
Where's that on the video?
The body camera doesn't pick it up, okay? But whenever you look through the back window, you will be surprised at how a body camera, how it darkens things. And you have to remember, a body camera sees a narrow field of view. It sees what it wants to see. So I was able to see that with my eyes through that back glass.
And that was tough, to sit in the courtroom and say, I don't know how he did it, but I know he did. And I hope there's enough evidence to prove it. The packet being in his hand before he put his glove on. The fact that he didn't have him finding anything on camera. It was just there. So the jury really had to go by their belief in whether or not he was a dirty cop.
And to the jury this case went. Would they believe Zachary Wester was upholding the law or breaking the law? After deliberating more than 7 hours over the course of 2 days, this was the jury's decision.
We, the jury, find as follows as to the counts charged in the information. Count 1, guilty of racketeering as charged. Count 2, not guilty. Count 3, not guilty. Count 4, not guilty. Count 7, guilty of official misconduct related to Teresa Odom as charged.
In a split decision, the jurors found Zachary Wester guilty of 19 charges, including racketeering, official misconduct, false imprisonment, and possession, but not guilty on 48 other charges.
There were so many more not guilties called out than there were guilty verdicts. And that was rough to hear. As someone who went through it, he's getting off on all of these cases. But in the end, after all was said and done, he was found guilty on charges relating to 3 of the people involved. Myself, Stephen Van, and Teresa Odom. In that moment, you're like, someone realized that this wasn't right, and you start thinking that maybe he'll get the time he deserves.
As to count 1, racketeering, which is a first-degree felony, you are sentenced to serve 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. As to count 7, official misconduct, 18 months. As to count 31, fabricating evidence, 1 year and 1 day. As to count 64, that's false imprisonment, you were sentenced to serve 1 year and 1 day. Therefore, it is the intention of the court that you are sentenced to serve a total of 12 years, 6 months, and 8 days in the Florida Department of Corrections.
12 and a half years is not the right time, which he should have got. I don't agree with the time he should have got, because racketeering should have been a federal charge. He should be doing federal time, 85% of his time, because 12 years in the state is probably 50%, so he'll be out in a little 5.5, 6 years. That's totally unacceptable. But when you have a case that's in the feds over 12 and a half years, he'd do more like 10 years. So that's a bogus charge anyway, because the false imprisonment should have been a kidnapping charge. The racketeering should have been a federal case. All that, he got off good, but for the people, we'll take it. Let me know what you think and how you like this video. Let me know in the comments section. Do you think he deserved more time, or do you think he deserved this amount of time? Let me know, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.